Hi, this is Steph from everythingvintagesteph.com, and this is vintage video number 5, where I'm going to show you vintage purses, in my eBay room. Come into my eBay room, which is part of my eBay basement, part of my eBay house. That's just the way we roll here. But I usually show you different parts of the basement or different parts of this room, which I've showed before. But today we're just going to look at where do you store all those purses. I'm not sure how many purses I have listed on eBay, but everything in this room is listed on eBay. And the purses are stored in this room basically in 3 different places. I have them hanging on the wall, and most of the ones on the wall are not vintage purses. To get a little closer to those purses, just kind of scan. I know the books are in the way. But most of those are not vintage purses, but you can see them a little better, and some hats too. This one actually is a vintage purse. I've had this for a while. It's really nice, but it has the name Carol on it. So if your name's not Carol, you might not want to buy it. I've had that one for a while. And I also have purses over in this corner. They're usually stuffed in there, but I brought some of them out that I am going to show you a little bit later. That's another place that I have the vintage purses, and the other one is right here on this chair. What better place to store purses than on a chair? Well, it's not really the greatest place, but this is where I have the smaller kind of purses that, I don't know, they just fit there. And I'm going to start there with the ones I want to show you. But I did forget to mention my blog. You can find me at everythingvintagesteph.com, spelled with a PH. That's my eBay store. But I also have a blog at everythingvintagesteph.com, spelled with 2 F's. And hopefully that will show up at the bottom of the screen when we're finished with this. All right, let's get into the purses. There are quite a few beaded purses in here, and these are pretty old. You might want to get a little closer to show the purse and not so much of my face, but that's okay. This one is probably from the 1940s, has the brass clasp, and a lot of these purses will have a little mirror inside, if it's still there. I think that's what this is. No, that's the comb. But a lot of these vintage purses came with a little comb or a mirror, and they might be cloth or silk inside. That one's pretty cute. Here's 2 other beaded purses, and these are not glued on beads. These are sewn on beads. This one has a little handle as well. Again, the beaded ones could be from the 1930s or the 1940s. They're older than the ones I'm going to be showing you in a little while. Some black beaded ones that I have here. This one has a handle, and it kind of opens a little cool there. Some of these will have your manufacturer inside. Corette is pretty much of a well-known purse maker. And yeah, there's the mirror for that one. This one's in excellent condition. That's always a plus when they're in excellent condition. I'll just pull out another black one. I think this one is a little bit newer. You can tell by looking inside. Yeah, made in China. That one's really not vintage, but it has the vintage look. And that's probably how I described it on my website at everythingvintagesteph.com. I have 3 that are just about the same, but in a little bit different colors, and I have these listed together. I looked for the leather ones. The leather ones are nice, nicer than the vinyl. This one's made of gold lame, he would call it. Let's see how that opens. Okay, you can see inside maybe the little manufacturer name there too. And there's nothing in that pocket, but that's where the mirror would be. This is called a kiss clasp because it just snaps shut like a little kiss. And it has a nice necklace type handle on it. This one is velvety with some rhinestones. Probably I would say 1930s or 40s. Could be 50s with this one. And the little change purse comes with that. Most of these bags are clutch bags. There's a macrame one in here. Macrame was probably more from the 70s. I'm not going to show you every single one, but this one's nice and different. It has a snake handle, and it's a very structured purse, more like a box. You can see inside that one, and some nice little rhinestones on there. You might be wondering where I find all my purses, mainly at estate sales. You will find them in thrift stores if you're in a good part of the country for that. That has a lot of beads, but that is a little bit of a newer one with the sequins on it. Okay, I'm just going to put some of these back in here. Might as well hold up these two. Those are older ones, nicely beaded, very blingy on that one. And I think in this bag, I did want to show this because these are small little change purses. They're all vintage, but they're little change purses made out of cloth. I think I have those listed all together on eBay, which is why I keep them in the bag. Okay, I'm going to pick up some of these purses that are on the floor over here and bring them over to the desk. A lot of your vintage purses are black from the, well, I want to get that white one. I'm going to miss the white one. The ones from the 1950s or so are usually black. I guess that was a popular style in the 1950s. And sometimes you'll find these listed on eBay. They'll say vintage 1950s, or they'll say vintage Mad Men. Alright, I was getting ready to show you some more of the purses that I have set on the table here. This one right in the front is a tapestry purse. It feels soft. It's made from some kind of tufting. Not sure exactly. That's a great vintage purse. And always look inside your purses to see if there's any damage. And often around the cracks here in the corners you'll see some damage. But on this one, no damage. It's usually the box purses, or sometimes these are called Kelly purses after Grace Kelly, just because of the shape and the one handle and black. I always look for the leather ones, but sometimes they're vinyl. But this is where you would most likely find any damage if there is some. This is also a nice suede leather on the inside. And they almost always have this pocket again for your mirror or for your lipstick or something. Sometimes they'll get dents on them just from storage, so it is important to store them well. This looks like a needlepoint purse, and I don't have any more examples of needlepoint purses that are actually done in needlepoint. They're some of my favorite ones, but as soon as I get those, I usually sell them. So this is like faux needlepoint. It's really just fabric, but that's the idea, what it would look like. And there's the inside again. That does have a manufacturing name on that one, Jacqueline. That's important when you look for that. And a nice smooth lining on that one. A little bit of damage here, but that is a leather handle. This is very cute. Smaller purse, but it has a big brass clasp, and that kiss clasp inside is nice. A little ruffle going on there, and yes, the mirror, even in a cute little shape. This closes nicely. It's vintage, but you could use that, carry that to your prom or just anywhere. This one looks sort of leathery, but it's not, but it's a really cool style. It has a lot more compartments, and I've just stored it with a bag in there so it stays nicer. And some of them just have the inside, but this will have the outside pockets. Okay, let's look at a white one. So many of them are black. These are white ones. Patent leather in white with a gold handle and that kind of clasp. Nice one. Some might have stains inside. It's not a big deal, but most of these that we've looked at today don't even have stains inside. Oh, and another thing, I did that so it would remind me, you can make it a clutch. Many of these purses, the handle will just store inside, so you can use the handle or not use the handle, however you choose to do that. A few little marks on that one. And I think I'll end with this one. Well, I'll show you that quick. It has a nice alligator design, but it's really not alligator for sure. Nice little box purse. This is made of leather and the brass kiss enclosure. And it just, actually, I would call that a barrel purse. I forgot that is the size of a barrel purse. The others are box purses, or you can call them structured. Some might call them almost like an A-frame. But a lot of these purses from the 50s, they're very similar in style. Black and leather, and they just look like that. Very sturdy, very usable. Some purses that I don't have because they're either very expensive to find, or I had them and I sold them, straw purses. I don't have any example of straw purses, and I don't have any examples of Bakelite purses. Those would be more expensive, but those are from the 1930s. Well, thank you for listening to my vintage craziness over vintage purses, and I hope you learned something or saw something interesting today. All these are available at everythingvintagesteph.com on eBay. Thanks.